It's fairly common here too. You don't really need to switch over to the sweeping lens until later when you can upgrade them. And it's a lot more effective at clearing out wards. Looks like we may be looking for the old level 1 dance off in the mid.
Yep, Arthlon just hanging out, going to throw a couple of briefcases out to say hello to Crepo, and we do have a pause to kick things off. So had a couple in the battle match as well. Players just want to make sure that everything's a-okay.
Everybody keeping their calm about them though. They're all ready.
It is important to stay calm during a pause,
yes,
Kobe.
Especially the level 1s there. There's not a lot of action. There's not much that could be throwing them off here. It looks like everyone is really spreading out, too, for one of the normal openers. So it doesn't look like there will be any heavy invades, mostly just covering all the jungle entrances here.
Yep, so pretty standard stuff. I mean, we could see some deep warding happen. Haven't seen as much of it for whatever reason in the last few patches, it seems like. Teams aren't really moving around as 5 and going to do the level 1 warding, but...
So part of the reason for that is that supports now do not like to start with a whole bunch of wards like they used to. It used to be, oh yeah, support's just going to start with like 4 wards. We'll take them in the level 1 invade, get some nice vision down. But now they actually like to start with either a gold generating item or just the Doran's item for that combat effectiveness. And they don't have a lot of extra wards for the early invades. That's why I think it's fallen off.
All right, so we are back into it now. We'll see what does happen at level 1. Just kind of expect everyone to hang out and make sure they guard all the entrances, but you never know, Kobe. Always up for some excitement. I think most importantly, how this is laned is going to be really interesting by Determined.
It looks like it is going to be standard lanes coming up here. I mean, Arthalon, he's sitting around middle, but if you have teleport there on Mundo, he'd probably make his way over and find himself top. They are making the switch very early here, though. You know what's really interesting is that Crepo is the support that's been using these Doran starts a lot to get the early advantage and get those early level 2 fights started down bottom. But it looks like here, Bubadub knows what his plan was, and he's also gone with a Doran shield.
Yeah, I mean, Crepo's talked a lot about Dorans, almost to a joke at this point. And so Bubadub may be showing some respect, being like, I'm going to build it as well. But they're going to have Determined move around now. It has 5 actually up towards the top bit of Tribush. So this could be a big, big invade here. There are scouts available though, Kobe.
Inox is in a pretty good spot there. And he does put down the ward, sees the entire invade happening.
Yeah, that's good. Riven going to back off now. This blue buff potentially under threat. In fact, it will be invaded here as it's just about to spawn. Wards being put down there by Determined as well. And very little they can do for an answer here. EG probably just going to try and trade away for the other blue.
EG doing a really good job. They did not hesitate to walk over to that other blue. Crepo and Yellow Pete started up before Snoopy's even in range for it. So they're just going to prime that one up, serve it to him on a platter.
And Crepo being a nice support player here, tanking it up with the absence of Snoopy, and looks like he is going to be able to get that blue buff. In fact, might not have to use his smite. Arthlon actually looking for the steal, but Snoopy is going to get it.
All right, so Snoopy will be very happy about that one. Olaf suffers tremendously without the first blue buff because it improves his clear time so much with the axe spam. Without that, you go very quickly, and you also cannot throw at the axes quite as much.
Yep, and actually going to continue doing a little bit of counter juggling here. Very creative. Got Crepo in tow. They're kind of an old, very old M5 throwback there, doing a bit of double juggling, and Snoopy going to collect an extra camp there.
And here's the all-in from Westrise.
Well, Poberto, though, able to get out with a satchel charge, but exactly what you talked about, Kobe.
Right, that would have been the plan there for Arthlon, but Westrise, being the Kazakhs in mid now, does go for it. He's able to get a nice chunk of harass down there onto Pobelter, but no summoner burned.
Nope, just the satchel charge, so able to get himself out of the way. Westrise a little low in mid, actually. Going to have to watch himself, but probably just getting poked down by Ziggs. I think that's one of the interesting tensions of that matchup, Kobe, is that there's some great poke for Ziggs, but if Westrise gets can all in, he can kill him very quickly.
Right, it's the kill potential, and here comes the gank!
Oh, that's bad news. Pobos are getting aggressive, but there comes Broken Shard looking for first blood, and is going to find it onto Ziggs.
So, Broken Shard here, knowing that he's going up against Pobelter, who has a tendency to, be influenced very easily by early game pressure, gets the kill on Pobelter. If they can set him off from this, get him on tilt, that could set the tempo for the entire game. But here comes Snoopy looking for tower pressure.
So 3-man push down the bottom, going to be the same up the top for Determined as well. And that tower is going to go down very quickly. Jinx, such a strong pusher, and Determined going to pick a whole lot up here very early on.
This game getting started off so quickly here. Broken Shard, he got the first blood and then went for the exact same move that Snoopy's doing. So even though he spent his time mid to get the kill, they also get the turret burst.
And that's just some really smart presence of mind from Broken Shard. You mentioned he likes to be aggressive when he can, but the most important thing about jungling is making smart decisions, and Broken Shard made two very, very strong ones.
And even though, it's kind of mirrored situations, I like that they got it a couple seconds earlier. It kind of turns this into a game of chicken, where the three-man team that continues pushing and got the turret first is going to have the advantage, and it forces the other team to recall back, and they lose out on a little bit of extra tower pressure there.
So towers are going to get traded away, but Determined Gaming with the first blood going to get themselves about 400 extra gold. Now Broken Shard looking for Pobelter. He's going to throw down the ward though, and they're going to back off.
So instead of the extra tower pressure that EG gained from taking that early, they actually gain that pressure mid and allow Westrice to CS without the Ziggs poke coming down to him. But Snoopy is able to make the call here, and they go for the close objective.
This is a beautiful call from EG. A little risky and a very early dragon here at 5 minutes, but Determined already sitting up top. Pobelter rotated up there as well to push out the minion wave, and EG going to get 5 minute and 15-second dragon.
And that is the least that a dragon can be worth. The average level, the lowest is level 6 there. So, like Jat was saying, the early dragons, yes, they're great, but not worth quite as much as before.
I think given that Determined were pushing down this tier 2 turret potentially on top, makes a lot of sense to clear out the objective when you can. And look at that, Kobe, dead even now in gold as a result. Some really smart decisions by both teams here early on.
Right, so it's dead even. The only little nuance here is that this secondary turret for EG has a huge chunk out of it. It's down to like a third left. Broken Shard's taking a good harass in the mid though.
Yeah, Pobelter here with the satchel charge. Very nice. He placed the mines in front of him as well. Maybe going to pick up the kill. Get it there with the bouncing bomb.
Oh, wow. Broken Shard with a little bit of misplay there. That happens sometimes for junglers when you go over to the mid lane, not quite used to laning there. And he wants to get a couple lane CS. And Pobelter definitely makes him pay for it right there. So, people who are worried about Pobelter going on tilt, he's back to 1-1 now, and we'll have to see how he plays mid-game out.
Yeah, looking good still in Pobelter. He's looking aggressive early on, clearly able to get a nice little kill in the mid as Broken Shard rotates through. I mean, the minion tax, Kobe, you're a jungler, you know it's very, very tempting, but did cost Broken Shard his life there.
Yeah, very tempting, but it's very dangerous as well sometimes. It looks like we're seeing rotation here from Snoopy up to pressure this top lane, and they're going for the dive onto Arthalon.
Inox looking for it. Arthalon actually already flashed out of the way. The undertow will hit. Briefcase in the back for Olaf as well, but EG just going to try and continue their tower pressure, it seems.
Because of that pressure down bottom too, Arthalon definitely got zoned out much harder than Inox. Level 4 now, but he's still behind Inox as far as that 1-versus-1 matchup is concerned.
And then again, a pause just to ease things out here after a lot of early game action, Kobe. I mean, things look pretty even. What can you tell me about some of the early game decisions those junglers were making there?
All right, so it was very exciting, and there were a lot of trades going on, but really, what's come of it is a 400 gold difference. That's almost nothing. And all the games that we've seen have been going to 50-minute marks. So, although this early game was very exciting and entertaining, thank you, Crepo and crew, it hasn't had the biggest impact. So, it's definitely still everyone's game right now.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I do like a lot of the rotation here that's coming out from EG. We mentioned experience before. It's that experience that's going to really carry them through a lot of difficult decisions. And you have to think on both these teams, the junglers are really calling a lot of the shots as well.
Yeah, the junglers have had a pretty big impact here, and it's mostly because when you get those 2-versus-1 situations, they spend a lot of the decisions do come down to wherever your jungler goes if they want to take those turrets early, which they have. It could go easily to the late game here. And if we're looking at late game comps, man, this determined team right now, not only do they have the upper hand in 80 carries, I think Jinx better than Ezreal in the extreme late game here. They also have a Kha'Zix for resetting kills, and they have the Mundo, the super tank, on their team.
And that's one of the nice things about the way Determined like to play. When there's so many tanky champions in the game that people like to kind of have in their team comps, you don't get a lot of assassins all that often. The mid laners are often just kind of for burst. You can think of Gragas maybe as some sort of assassin, but when you have an actual assassin that has reset potential like Kha'Zix, all of a sudden your damage potential goes through the roof. And a lot of teams aren't necessarily used to playing against that type of composition.
Yeah, I mean, Westrice, they have had practice against him, and they know his style. But even so, after knowing the style of Westrice, it's still very dangerous to go up against Kha'Zix. He did get that early assist, didn't quite get the first blood, but he's had a pretty easy time also CSing in that lane because of the pressure created elsewhere. Pobelter's been doing a lot of roaming. So when Pobelter leaves lane, that means more money for Westrice.
And of course, Westrise could also potentially start roaming in there as well. Level 6 now to get that ultimate out, so can sneak in potentially with some invisible ganks and just jump on people's faces. You'd mentioned Assassins and Snowball though, Kobe. There is kind of an Assassin and certainly a Snowball champion on the EG side as well in Riven.
So Riven is really good at being a lane bully. Because once she does get a little bit of AD, all of her spells scale so well with AD, and all these players are so well trained at animation canceling, they can make the most out of that. But really, if Mundo can get to that point, where he gets a Spirit Visage and a Sunfire Cape, then it'll be very hard for her to actually make anything come of that early potential. And, Mundo is just very hard to push him out of lane.
He is. And really, we've seen what late game Mundo can be like. We saw Alternate before in the Battle of the Atlantic. Mundo all the time, all day, every day for Kevin. It's really, really hard when he gets to late game.
We'll have to see, though, because, it's only 7 minutes. And so we've got a little bit more to play out. And Arthalon is currently behind Inox. So we'll have to see what Determined can do to try and keep Arthalon from falling further behind and just hopefully be able to hold on to his turret, try and CS around there.
So given how the early game's gone so far, we've had a Dragon for EG, we've had some rotations around the turrets to take those out as well. Given what we think about Determined's late game here, given they're champions, where do you think EG are really going to try and close out this game?
I mean, EG have the Ziggs. I think that's one of the kind of defining characteristics of their comp right now. So whenever you do have Ziggs, you have the potential for shoving extremely hard. You have great wave clear, so you can also defend turrets. And then, like we said about Inox on that Riven, it's great in the 1v1 potential. And he's also taken teleport. So they can have split push. I feel like EG are going to go more split push style. And then Determined Gaming are going to look for that end game, the team fights with the resets.
So with Ezreal as well, we kind of mentioned, Jinx just such a strong fighter, so good late game. Do you think maybe we'll see a bit of a change in Yellow Pete's build? I mean, it's been a while since Blue Ezreal, but if there was ever a team where you might want it, Mundo's not a bad champion to kite.
Yeah, I mean, Mundo does like to say that he goes where he pleases, but a blue Ezreal would slow him down a little bit. I don't know. I don't think that Yellow Pete is going to actually rush that build, but he might get something later in the game to give him a little bit more ability if he is having problems.
Yeah, I mean, he could. It's always an option, and I think it's a nice thing to think about as well. I mean, Ziggs, another champion that's not only good at shoving lanes, but controlling space with the explosive minefield as well. So we'll have to see what happens here. Should be back in this game fairly shortly by the looks of things, and Kobe already very, very exciting, but still very close between these two.
Definitely very close. All right, so let's jump back into the Rift here. We will take a look at that top lane. And like we said, Inox, since he's got the advantage here over Arthalon, he's gonna be able to shove it into lane, but it's very hard to dive a Mundo, as we've seen already.
Yep, and I like this little item choice as well coming out from Pobel to Ziggs. He may not necessarily finish the Zhonya's that quickly, but I like the Seeger's arm guard here just up against Kha'Zix, because really, Kobe, you have to just defend against all that damage.
Yeah, not only does that arm guard help him in the lane phase, but you really need a Zhonya's late game so that you can stop the reset train from going on. Make sure that Westrise will all be delayed at least another 3 seconds when he goes for that kill.
Yep, so just down the bottom here, you can see a lot of farm being exchanged back and forth, and now Robodex, Lee, and Bubba going to be working on this tower down towards the bottom lane here. They've already managed to push down one. Going to try and see if they can do it here again, and for whatever reason, all those rotations, a lot of movement from EG. Big CS discrepancy is a big all-in from Inox, but doesn't quite fire the ultimate. There we go. They couldn't quite get him.
And he takes 2 tower hits on the way out, almost evening up that trade. So even though Arthalon is getting bullied around, like we said, he's kind of just like a punching bag, a very, very sturdy punching bag that's taking these hits and then regenning up under turret. The only question is, how well can he CS under that turret while being pressured?
Well, Riven actually surprisingly good against Mundo. I was again talking to Crumbs before the games, and he really likes that as a champion against Mundo. But Inox is mirroring the summoner spells here, and that's not going to quite get a Mundo killed.
If you don't have Ignite against Mundo, it's really, really difficult to finish him off. And we've seen several times people just get baited because even though you know he's got crazy regen when he gets low, sometimes it's just too juicy and you don't want to let it go.
I mean, you want the kill. Everybody loves to chase kills, but chasing a Mundo, much like chasing a Singed, not always a good idea. Is down the bottom. This turret is getting hammered.
Now,
by Determined.
An interesting side effect of all the 2v1 action and the shoving that DTG did on that top lane is that this matchup here, that was Leona Thresh, that's kind of based on skill and can he interrupt the Leona, just got swung completely in Thresh's favor. This is all a Determined Gaming lane right now because not only is Leona lower level, but Krepo's also taking a large amount of harass, so it's very difficult for him to go for that all-in.
So Determined just continuing to shove down towards the bottom lane. Looks like junglers are sniffing around now out towards the bottom lane, but we'll see what happens. I think the next dragon is due up quite soon, about a minute and a half here on that one, but you can see the Jinx Ezreal matchup really just looking good for Robert Exley.
And now we also have that amazing moment that is the level 6 jungle Vi. So he has the potential to go for those very high impact ganks on the mid lane. The only thing is here with Pobelter, he's playing very safe now because he saw the level 6 ding there from Vi. So he's going to be playing far back, and he will save his satchel for when they come for that gank. Because if he does not have it up, then a assassin plus Vi level 6 combo is a pretty easy kill.
We've seen a lot of fast pushes actually from Determined in their games leading up to this event. They're really not slowing down here on the bottom turret. I think EG, knowing that they're trying to get it done, Crepo going to go and flash down there as well. Great ult on top of it. The barrier will get popped in there, lands it out. Maybe another box popped in there as well. And Bobbit maybe going to take him. Here's Broken Shot looking on the edge with the Zigzag coming in as well. And Snoopy picks up the kill. Now Crepo in a whole lot of trouble on Leona. And there's just people everywhere. As Enoch teleported down. Mundo with the double kill as Riven's going in. Now Broken Shot has to get out there as quick as he can. But Pobelter roaming down there. 9+ short piece for the kill. And Arthalon, last but not least, going to get stunned up there by Kibo. So Westrise absolutely doesn't want anything to do with that. And
a huge win for EG right there. Crepo with a great job. He did not hesitate. Yes, okay, Bubba got the interrupt there, but Crepo didn't hesitate to follow up right there. He chained it, got the ultimate stun as well onto Robert. And then, even though both teleports come in, they're able to get the upper hand because they got the first kill. All right, let's take a look again. There's the flash from Crepo because he got knocked back and knocked up, and that flash and stun combo from Crepo enabled them to get Robert so low that in comes Pobelter with the ultimate from mid lane, and Snoopy covers him off right there. Arthalon first TP in, but here comes Inox as well. The Riven, with their ultimate up, able to just chop everyone down, and Broken Shard's not going to be able to get away. Neither is Arthalon, and Westrise is left watching from the bushes.
And when all is said and done, EG picked themselves up a 2,000 gold lead early on in this one, and Determined were looking for a dragon. They're very sneaky, but EG going to chuck down the pink wall, going to look to claim their second dragon in a row, potentially? No. Instead, just going to back up, clear out the woods they know are there, and we're going to go again, Cody.
Well, Arthalon is up top again, but both people used their teleports last time, so this is an easy dragon for EG right here. They don't have to hesitate at all, and it should not be contested from Determined.
Yeah, and that top tower already gone, remember, as well. Determined finished that one up already, so Arthalon just kind of pushing as hard as he can to maybe get to the tier 2, get a little bit of damage, but that was a very nice dragon as well.
Yeah, I don't really like that rotation, sending your teleport top laner up there when you know the dragon is up. It was kind of an easy call there for EG to go grab that objective, since there was nothing really left for Arthalon to take up top and answer with.
And Inox now just going to farm away all these minions that pushed in, so not only did the pushing from Arthalon hurt his team in that dragon fight, but a whole bunch of easy CS for Inox to pick up in there as well. Blue buff going to get transferred over to Pobelter as well. And action down the bottom, but Bobbit misses the hook.
They are getting some nice damage onto this turret here, though, down bottom. And they know that there's no teleport, so the Riven's not going to be coming in behind them. Looks like they are not going to give up on that pressure down there either.
Ooh, Broken Shard. Bit of a miss vault breaker there. Didn't quite go through the torch.
Okay, so there's a big woo from the crowd. You know, it did look bad. But, oh, here we go.
That's a beautiful stun. Great chain CC. Robert Exley obliterated there. The Chomper's down as well, but cannot save him.
Oh, Robert found without his support there. Bubba Dub not able to rescue him. Crepo, again, not hesitating. He's been on point with this Leona play.
I mean, he often is. That's one of the reasons he loves to play Leona so much. He is a sniper with the Solar Flare there. And EG, that last little fight's really giving them some confidence here. And we talked about it, Kirby. If EG are going to win, it's probably going to be a big min game. But Westrise going to try and turn it around. Now Snoopy in here as well. And it is indeed leap away there for Westrise. He gets bombed out as well. Maybe going to go down. Is Snoopy going to look for it? He flashes out of the way. Pobelter are not quite enough. Unfortunately, the ultimate goes. Not enough, though. Now Broken Shot on the Snoopy. The dunk there with the Assault and Battery. He's ignited and will go down. And Pobelter, despite the blue buff, very low on Broken Shot. He's going to try to do it. He's going in there. Excessive Force coming in. Picks up the double kill. And Arthalon going to shake off the Riven harass in the top lane, but beautiful play in the mid.
This is often the story with Westrise. He is a very aggressive player, so Pobelter, knowing that he's going up against Westrise, tries to bait him into a fight. He does a good job, gets Kha'Zix extremely low because he's got the Olaf right behind him, but in comes Broken Shard, and they're able to turn it around. They actually get the double off of that. beautiful, beautiful just play right there, able to work themselves out of a bad situation.
And a little unfortunate for Pobelta. He just now finished his Zhonya's, and despite having blue up, ran completely out of mana to try and pick up that kill. So tower is going to go here for EG. That's a nice rotation. Down the bottom though, Robert Exley answers.
All right, so I said they weren't going to give up on that pressure down bottom, even though he got caught out and killed again. He returns and he finishes his job. Good job, Robert.
Inox going to do the same thing here as well. 3-2 now in turrets for Evil Geniuses. They pick it up. And the only outer turret left alive is the mid turret here for Evil Geniuses. That's a pretty important one.
All right, that importance of that is signified by everyone grouping up around mid as soon as Determined show any threat of pushing it down. The Leona and the Olaf there just waiting in the wings, and after everybody backs off, they'll go to buy.
So some curious item choices moving through here. We can see Tiamat's actually on both of the top laners there, so Kha'Zix and Riven going to be going for that item. So plenty of split push, plenty of all-in, plenty of burst. Lots of good looking stuff in there as well. Junglers well on the way with their builds. You can see Spirit of the Ancient Golem plus a Giant Spell apiece for each of them. Mundo versus Ziggs, of course, not quite the matchup we expected, but Sunfire for him with the Zhonya's in there. And double Bloodthirster now finished for both ADs as well. So everybody seems happy.
Everybody is happy. I mean, the Tiamat on Riven there is definitely an extremely popular build because Riven gets so much bonus AD from her ulti. An auto attack reset has even more value than usual. And she can just destroy waves as well as champions.
So Determined Gaming looking to group up now again. We've mentioned how important the mid turret is. They really want to try and get it down. And I think another interesting thing, Kobe, the teleports back up now as well for those top laners. And we saw what Inox did with his last teleport on Riven.
Now, it's interesting because when Riven teleports in, it's usually a high impact very early on. Like, there'll instantly be a lot of damage there. You know that Riven's been there. But it takes a little while for Mundo to actually take effect in that fight. So he's going to want to be the one teleporting in first, and he's going to want the initiative there to start wreaking havoc a little bit earlier.
And Crepo continuing a good run for this game as well. Actually finished up his Aegis already, so that's a nice little one for the team. Sweeping Lens going to go down there, and Dragon up in just over a minute. EG looking for something here.
So they're trying to get a little bit of control here on the blue side jungle, and they're going to make Pokejohn pay for it.
Beautiful Xenos Blade forces the flash out there. Fight is going to be okay as Robert Exley will move the choke through with the Flame Chompers there. And now blue buff, though, really nicely timed.
Crepo, again, doing a great job. Has not missed yet. Uses his ultimate to get a flash out. That's always an amazing trade because Leona's ultimate, extremely low cooldown. Looks like Robert might even be chasing everybody off here by himself.
Mundo actually coming in for this one. Arthlon around the side. Westrice as well. Everybody from Determined trying to move in here as Snoopy's going to take some damage. Westrice getting low. The Zhonya's there from Pobelta. Looks really good though as Robert flashing forward, trying to get some more damage. You can see Brokenshot low in there as well. And EG really positioning well though, forcing the flash out there for Bob. And Robert Exley brought up in the Xenos Blade. Arthlon looking bad in here as well. The ultimate there moving through. Westrice almost dead, but Yellow Pete snipes him off with a Mystic Shot.
Just destroyed here, and they're going to let Bubba Dub walk away with his life. But another huge team fight win for EG. That is a really good timing, too, because you just talked about that Dragon, only 10 more seconds. Now, Determined thought they had the advantage here. They cut him off. Arthlon, again, with the early TP in. Westrice gets chunked out so low at the beginning of this fight, though, that even though he has upgraded for the resets, he doesn't get to do any damage. You can see him just walking back and forth here down in the bottom. So that was a large chunk of damage that DTG were not able to take advantage of. And Arthlon, even on that Mundo, is not that tanky yet. Not able to survive.
And I have to say, Kobe, hats right off to Crepo there. Once again, plays beautifully on Leona. He started so many skirmishes. He started so many fights. CC beautifully there with that one. And of course, the ultimate once again hitting its mark.
Yeah, people were doubting this EG team, you know, but it looks like they've really been working together very well. Inox has been teleporting down at the right times as well, and he was able to turn that one around.
Broken shot once again. No flash this time. Does Vault Breaker himself out of the way, though, and EG did pick up their second or third straight Dragon at this point, Kobe. I think it's the second, though.
All right, it looks like they are going to recall here. They have done a pretty good job of controlling the Dragons, but they've also taken all of the outer turrets, which is really huge for them. Like we said at the beginning, they want to be shoving constantly. They do have that Ziggs.
Yeah, I mean, you said it there as well. Ziggs looking good. Pobelta going to pick himself up the blue buff as a result, so he'll be happy with that one. Red buff going over to Vi once again. So Broken Shard now hitting level 11. Going to try and make some high impact ganks come through as well. Snoopy looking good as well. Randy one's on the way. And just in general, EG slowly but surely with some great team play, really getting the goal going here.
And if Snoopy gets tanky enough, you know, he can just run straight at Robert and force him out of the fight there. Oh, another engage here from Crepo. He does get stunned up this time, though.
Yeah, he got snared, unfortunately, so I believe you cannot move out of the snare if you Zenith Blade, because, you know, you need to go from one spot to another. You just won't go to the other spot.
Yeah, Robert right there with Flame Choppers, getting his supports back.
And Tower does go down there as a result for EG, so 4-2 now in that Magic game, and you can see the gold lead really starting to creep up now. EG 34,000 more or less to the 28,000 or so there for Determined.
Now, an interesting thing here for the mid and late game is that since both of these supports did not start out with their gold generating items, there won't be that extra mobility there, at least for the EG team, because Crepo still has not gotten his coin. So he's not going to be having an upgraded coin for that speed up effect until much later if he does ever even decide to go for it. And all of the speed up for Snoopy for that Olaf is going to have to come from himself.
That's a little surprising to me. I mean, Olaf is just so great when he can speed him through. I think that's part of the reason why Snoopy actually has Ghost here instead of the Flash we've been seeing a little bit more of on Olaf, more as a style choice, excuse me. But we kind of thought about Yellow Pete's build. He absolutely wants nothing to do with the blue build. He's gone full damage here, BT, and it looks like Trinity Force is going to follow up. He's just hanging out here with Arthalon. Mundo, a pretty tanky guy, but maybe he can get some work done here. And Pete must feel good here.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to finish that Trinity Force and get speed for himself as well. So it looks like everybody going to fend for themselves as far as the boosts are concerned. And I think that that's just really Crepo being so confident in his ability to hard engage that they won't need the extra speed up for any chasing.
Yeah, they kind of know that the late game doesn't look that great, so even if Ezreal's able to kite consistently, that's maybe not going to get it done here as well. Can have a little bit of a party here. Snoopy just missing that death sentence there. So the wards are going to get cleared out now as well. Determined really looking put back into their base here at this point. You can see Inox down the bottom. Teleport not quite up, but he's going to go in onto Westrice. Damage moving through. Westrice, oh, beautiful knockup moving through. He's trying to juke him out. Pops the active there. Should have the exalt that does get him. He just misses the key burst, but is able to do enough damage.
Yeah, that was just an outplay by Inox there. You can see Westrice was trying to pull some fancy footwork there, and he even flashed at the end, expecting it to come out from Inox, but so many back and forth movements expecting the wind slash, he actually just wasted a lot of time and wasn't able to get the cooldown on his Q reset for another kill.
And Inox, with that very nice bit of finesse, is able to take out a tier 2 turret all by himself out in the bottom lane as well. So Evil Genius says, we kind of mentioned it, we're not sure what to expect. Apparently big things here as they're looking fantastic in this opening game.
Yeah, we said that in the beginning that Inox and Westrice are very similar top lane players. You know, neither has really conformed to the tanky top lane meta, and both of them just prefer those assassins. Right there, we just saw, you know, Inox kind of one-upping Westrice and calling him out.
Yeah, and that item build really progressing along now for Inox. Last Whisper has been finished up for Riven, so he's going to be doing all the damage here at this point as EG are kind of mooking their gold lead a little at this point. Pobelter, interestingly enough, is actually going for a Chalice of Harmony now, so didn't want it early, wanted the Zonias as soon as he could get it, and he's picked that up now, as well as we see rotation.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of play into that late game vision that I talked about for EG. They've got the shoving, so it's going to be the Chalice keeping Pobelter's mana up even when he's not able to grab a blue buff, and they have that Inox split push down bottom. His teleport is back up, and we've just seen that he can handle Westrice, so Determined would have to send somebody else down there if they want to.
And as far as split pushes goes, Riven's a pretty good one here. I mean, AD casters in general really good at killing turrets, and Inox with the Ravenous Hydra as well, able to push very quickly. So Mundo's going to rotate over, but look at the chunkage, Kobe.
All right, yeah, so Arthalon is going to try his hand at this, but really, like we said before, he's just kind of soaking up minions under the turret. He can't force Inox out of that lane. He's just going to continue taking a little bit of a beating here, and Inox is going to do a great job of pulling resources of Determined Gaming down to that bottom side so the rest of his team can make plays up top.
Crepo going to go in once again. The ultimate moves in there for Ziggs. Now Broken Shard in trouble as Barbadum goes down there to Leona. Pobelter looking for the satchel on Robert X Lee, but doesn't quite find it. Have to be a little careful. Super Mega Death Rocket has broken. Beautiful bodies from Pobelter though. And now Broken Shard can be in trouble. Westrice looking for the reset. Almost finds chance too, as he gets 1 kill in there as well. Now Snoopy trying to get around. Pete's out of mana though, but Enox chasing Mundo around the base. It seems like look to teleport coming in now for West Rice as well. And Snoopy going to look for the cleanup here. That's a kill there. And now Robert X. Lee is very dead.
Yeah, he's cornered.
There's nowhere Jinx wants to be, and Olaf gets yet another kill.
All right, so EG was able to make their play up top, then overextend a little bit between 2 turrets. Everything turns out just fine, though, because Inox is able to teleport in, clean everything up.
And Inox, once again, looking really strong here. We said, kind of like Pobelta, not sure what to expect, and his Rivers look fantastic here in this game. Every single time he has used his teleport, the impact has been really felt here by Determined.
He's really a beast for this EG team, but everyone really on their side is ahead right now. Especially, we're going to have to take a look at Snoopy, because right alongside Inox, he can dive just as well. There's the beautiful engage from Crepo. Everybody wants to see it. Now, here is the overextension from EG. They get a little bit too close, and Pobelter will Zanya's the ulti from Broken Shard, which is a great move, but West Rice can jump right in to finish him off. You only get 1 Zanya's. Can't use it again on that. And the non-reset right there from Crepo delays West Rice damage just a little bit. And so he overextends onto Pete. And since Pete has Flash, he gets away, out of danger, and there's no escaping the axes of Snoopy.
And then Robert, absolutely nowhere to run after that. Snoopy is going to get himself yet another kill. And just looking so strong here. Evil Geniuses, really strong lead. In fact, they're 10,000 gold ahead already, Kobe.
Yeah, they're feeling extremely good about the way that this game is going, but we've seen so many teams on this 3.14 patch kind of get complacent once they have a giant lead, and it's so easy for teams to come back in this patch that they cannot afford to do that. One of the key things to look out for with those comebacks is going for the dragons. The mid and late game dragons are a huge comeback mechanic. Not only does it give a lot more gold, like Jack kept on saying, but it also gives so much bonus experience to help catch up anyone on your team who's very far behind.
So the position looks good for EG.
It does.
You can certainly say that at this
point.
point.
It looks real good.
So what happened here in this game to kind of get to this point? EG, we weren't too sure about the lanes. Pobelta gave up first blood, but from there, everything's looked pretty smooth.
So it was Pobelta giving up first blood, but he didn't go on tilt. A lot of people were giving him criticism, for either being really great or having a very terrible game. He's been able to fight his way back, and he held his own in that mid lane, and then he was also able to help with the roaming kills. When Inox took his lead from top and teleported bottom to force the fights on Robert X. Lee and get that bottom lane behind, Pobelta was there from the mid lane with the long-range ultis. He was able to clean people up, and they won 2 fights around that dragon, getting their lead above Determined Gaming, and then also getting the objectives right after. So it's the kills plus objectives 2 times in a row that really boosted EG.
And now at this point, Riven looks so scary for Determined Gaming. Inox is split pushing everywhere. He's moving through. He's 1v1ing people. He's almost 1v2ing people now at this point as well. If you're EG, how do you go about closing out this game now that you're so far ahead?
So EG, they'll probably want to continue with that split push style that we're talking about, because Inox is such a beast and he got a lot of damage down onto that bottom turret already. Like we said, he draws resources from the rest of Determined Gaming down to that bottom side and opens them up on the other side of the map to make plays. Crepo is so on point with all his ultimates, you're going to have to watch out for that.
Yeah, we are going to get back here. Not too long a pause as Evil Geniuses look poised to take the opening game here in this series. But as Kobe mentioned, comeback's definitely a bigger thing now on this newer patch here in the preseason, and it is certainly not over till it's over.
That's why I love how EG are protecting this dragon. It's kind of an old mentality that later in the game, teams stop caring about it. But it still is that big comeback mechanic. So EG, they're not going to let anything go. They definitely want to secure that objective and close all of the doors in Determined's face.
Yeah, EG really just looking to close, as you said, as many doors as they can and just close out this game in style here. I mean, EG, 2 young, 2 new players picked up for them. But if anyone can guide some new players into closing out a game, and we often almost criticize the amateur and the challenger scenes for maybe not closing games out that well, especially on this patch, if you have veterans like Yellow Pete, like Crepo, like Snooper in your team, you're going to know how to close.
It's very interesting that they're choosing to go for the Baron area as their means of kind of closing this one out, because along with all the vision changes, it's become so much more difficult to control that area since the sweepers are a very limited resource, and it's a team-shared resource. Vision right now, you really have to depend on the rest of your team. Oh, Broken Shark gets caught.
Yeah, that's not good news. Pobelta picks up a kill. Babadov forced a flash as well, as Robert X. Lee is going to move the Chompers in. But that one kill is maybe all EG want to close out this Baron.
All right, so they've got Westrice down bottom pushing, so he'll eventually get that turret, but they're going to grab that Baron right now. And one outer turret or secondary turret for Baron is an amazing trade if they can make it happen. Robert will probably go for the steal, though, with the ultimate.
Yellow P taking a lot of damage. Beautiful barrier to protect himself, but Jinx still going to get the kill as Yasuo goes down. There's so much damage coming through. The Baron getting low. They've got to be careful. They are going to secure it, but determined. Looking so strong here. Now Grepo going to go after Robert X. Lee. EG needs to back out if they can, but Enoch doing the damage. Takes out Arthur, and then Westrice gets out Leona, and now the reset coming through as well. Good death sentence they're coming in, and Robert X. Lee with the shutdown.
They were able to take the Baron before they started losing members, though. So they got the objective first. It was such a really good hook, though, there. Two really good hooks from Babadov, catching both high-priority targets. First Yellow Pete, then Inox later.
Thankfully, though, determined only take the one turret there down the bottom. EG, though, could lose this one in mid as well. Babadov kind of zoning out Pobelta if they can. Ziggs, great wave clear, but Robert X is going to take it out and ride the lantern away.
All right, so they're able to answer back a little bit. Now they're going to want to lick their wounds, though, because two of the members of EG are still wearing that Baron buff. Here goes the harass, and then there's the first hook I was talking about onto Yellow Pete. This just gave so much hope to DTG, and this is why Babadov rotates down around the entrance of the Baron. I gotta think that if the rest of the team had rotated as quickly as him, it might be a different story. But Westrice comes in, defends Robert, and then they're able to clean up Inox. So even though Arthalon did end up going down, he showed that he can last as long as two members of EG in the enemy lines.
But EG still maintain a big lead here in this game. I mean, it's not going to quite be the big Baron they can push on maybe that they would have wanted, but they're going to keep trying to close this game out. And Inox, his teleport's almost back up. He knows what his job is.
It is getting a little scary for them, though, because Mundo's creeping up on that point. Where he gets extremely beefy, and it just takes so long. Yes, you can kill him, but it takes so long, and it takes so many of your spells and cooldowns to do it, that sometimes you just want to bypass him and go for the resets here on DTG instead.
Yeah, and for all the kills and gold that EG have, the AD carries are actually surprisingly close in gold. You can see there's under 1,000 actually between Yellow Pete and Robert X. Lee.
Well, before all the madness with the kills down bottom and the rotations with teleports started happening, Robert had a huge lead down there, and he did have a big upper hand. He's been able to keep his CS up too, so he's going to be doing fine going into that late game. And like we said, Jinx is amazing in that late game. Not only does Westrice have the ability to chain kills and get resets, but Jinx with the Get Excited is one of the best AD carries there for the end game because she can continually chase people down and use that mobility that she gains after one kill to reposition.
Evil Geniuses, though, member missing there with Inox up towards the top. He does have his teleport if he wants to use it, but he's going to have to be careful. And a lot of the gold interesting is actually on Pobelta and Crepo, so that's good for Ziggs. He's going to be able to poke and really clear waves. And Crepo, he's spent his items well, but you maybe want that gold on someone that can carry a little harder.
Yeah, I'd say Crepo deserves that gold with all of the amazing ultis that he's been landing here. He has been getting himself extremely beefy, so he is just as strong a tank here as someone like Snoopy. And he's going to be wanting to use his ulti for the engage, but then also he has the ability to peel for the likes of Pobelta and Yellow Pete.
And so EG going to start this siege now. Got Baron on a couple of members. That's good enough. Inox going to take away the red buff there as well. I mean, the wave kill looking pretty good here for DTG. Jinx is very, very good. Not just at sieging, but counter-sieging.
She is at that, but I mean, EG've got a really good combo there. Pobelter, you know, he can use the passive from Ziggs to just get one auto attack onto a turret, and it takes a big chunk out of it. So even with the small regen of the inhibitor turrets, if they just get those Ziggs empowered auto attacks and the Ezreal Trinity Force empowered auto attacks onto it, then they can chunk it down pretty significantly.
Yeah, and the poke as well from Ziggs maybe make the difference here in this fight, but we'll have to see here. Determined, holding on for dear life here at this point. Inox was up towards the top lane, but he's rotated himself through the jungle, just kind of clearing out what he can. Westrice, rotating up towards the top to kind of push that back here. And it is the split push here for EG Kobe. Like we mentioned, it's pretty much their plan at this point. They're going to look for a good point to teleport.
Yeah, I like the kind of answer from BTG. Westrice just went to split mid instead. So he was like, okay, you're going to split push top. I don't really want to fight. Not available for Determined.
And it almost feels like Determined got a little impatient there with that kill. I mean, they could have just left someone to move up there and just keep the lanes pushed out. Because again, if you teleport, the longer the space is, the better the port is for you. So from one inhibitor to another, it's actually not that far.
Exactly. Westrice could hold on to that lane as long as he's at his turret, because he's not that afraid of Inox actually diving the turret. But you can see from the flash ulti there from Broken Shard, they thought they could finish him off very quickly. And then once the fight began, again, it looks kind of like Westrice didn't know quite where to go, walking back and forth because he's so scared of the damage and the burst from Riven that it took them way too long to finish him off.
And Inox now has finished a Guardian Angel for himself. So that's going to be pretty interesting news here. I mean, you saw just how hard it was for Westrice to kill him, and Inox was doing so much there 1v2. If it had GA in that last fight, it probably would have been a clean 1v2 there for Riven. And I mentioned how scary Riven can be. Inox is looking at the peak of his power, and that is the thing for me, Kobe, that's the interesting timing point for this game. EG kind of have to win now.
Well, they've got a really good chance because Inox now has GA of his own, and Westrice is going to be on cooldown. So in that 2 versus 1 situation, if they repeat that fight, I'm going to have to give the edge to Inox.
I mean, it looks good now for EG, but if this game goes longer, and we've seen long games already today, Kobe, then Determined Gaming can certainly get there with their late game and turn it around. But right now, looking really up against the ropes, Baron up very, very soon as well. So you can see the triple sweeper there actually on EG. They want absolute vision around this Baron area if they can get it.
Right. Okay. So that shared resource vision point I was trying to make before is that, you know, since everyone only gets 1 pink ward, and you can only have a couple sweepers. Oh, they're going to face a contend!
Broken shot, wrong place, right time. Ziggs their bomb coming through Yellow Feet. Able to pick up that kill. Now Snoopy chasing through with the Ragnarok. Nothing stops Olaf in this wall, and that's a double kill for Pete moving through. Robert X Lee in a whole lot of trouble as well. His GA is going to get popped here. Should be finished off here at this point. Oh, everybody misses. Can't quite time the GA respawn, but 3 clean kills.
It is exactly the same result as last time we started talking about that. Those sweepers definitely paying off. It's Broken Shard going in there to try and grab a little piece of vision and ends up dying for it. They get 3 members down. It should be a very easy push in here.
EG just waiting for their minions to come in. Bottom inhibitor already down. They're looking to take a second one here as well. And they can quite possibly move off and take Baron fairly safely after that as well. You can see the inhibitor turret going to drop quickly. The inhibitor not long for this world either here as it quickly goes down. And Determined Gaming, there's still comebacks here maybe, but this is a tough spot to be.
Now, this spot is 2 inhibitors down, minions in your base, and Baron is up. They are extremely scared right now because if they choose to go contest this Baron, those minions are going to constantly be doing more damage to the base. They will lose Nexus turrets.
Kobe, I have to ask you, is the 3rd time the charm? Because that is exactly what EG are hoping for here.
Broken Shard looks like he wants it, but this time they're going to use the ulti first. Okay, he sees they're not on Baron. Broken Shard may live this day.
I mean, it might already be gone if you're Determined Gaming.
You know what's funny is they saw that missile go by, so they know that Determined think it's clear, and now they'll just take it.
That's actually really, really clever from EG. And Broken Shard's going to get the bad news. He'll look for the smite steal, though. Volt Breaker charging out. Oh, that is really smart for EG. He's going to go in Assault Battery. He steals it! He gets back and he gets out with a lesson! Amazing play there from Broken Shard.
I thought he wussied out, but he was just waiting. He uses the ulti, grabs it anyway, and here's the teleport.
Inox moving through. Robert X Lee very, very dead as Riven's going to pick up that kill, but Broken Shard, I thought EG was so smart in waiting for Volt Breaker to run out.
It was.
Forgot about Assault and Battery.
It was the perfect play right there. Both teams played that perfectly. It's just that the smite goes to Broken Shard. They end up with this one, but EG are going to take the bait.
And Crepo missed his first Xenos Blade of the game, I think, but this 3rd inhibitor looks very, very very dead at this point as Broken Shard moving back in. You can see it looks like Bubbadub getting jumped on as well. Crepa going real deep there as Snoopy jumped into the fray as well. Now Yellowpin moving forward with the damage. Pobelter picks up 1 kill as Thresh is going to go down and moving the rest of them out with the mines as well. The last inhib going to fall there and EG going to back out with almost everything. But that was a steal and a half, Kobe.
Yeah, DTG's only hope now are home guards for everybody and hoping that EG will stay too long and they can actually answer back with some kills.
EG going to stay a little late here. Oh, home guard actually moving through. Broken Shard, ult not quite back here. Crepo a little low. Looks like they are going to back off there just enough to move out of the way. Westrice's GA back up too. Super Mega Death Rocket actually going to kill Crepo, but Westrice going to get jumped on. The GA gets caught there. Pobelter with the ult coming through, and beautiful kitings moving out of here. EG, a beautiful turnaround there and determined. A little greedy there on that one. Robert X leads back though, so they might have to get out of the way, and they will.
Oh, the burst damage from Riven. Even when she's slow live, not only can she put out so much damage, but her shield also is a massive amount. Able to just instantly destroy Westrice as soon as he jumps in.
The good news though for Determined, they did get their last inhibitor back. So they at least have that.
All right, they got 1 of 3. That's pretty good.
That's true. I mean, it's not 2 out of 3, which ain't bad. But 1 out of 3 is better than 0 out of 3. And Broken Shard here just going to clean them out, clean the minions out, out towards the top lane here. I mean, his team, some of his team at least, does have Baron.
Exactly. The Baron was recently taken, so that objective is not on the map. There's not much that's going to draw Determined out of their base now. And even though their inhibitors are down, they can just farm the waves inside of their base and force EG to come for a 5-on-5 team fight. The only thing they would be giving up is that next dragon, which is probably going to go to EG anyway.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, EG just have complete control of the map. You can see right now the sweep is only just starting to come out for Determined. They've really valued their yellow trinkets here because they've just not been able to leave their base pretty much at this point. As you call Kobe, the next dragon is going to go down, and EG, they're looking to win now, surely.
Yeah, I really would make the call for Determined to stay inside the base. There's almost no reason you should be outside of the base for their team right now because all the minion waves are going to be pushing in anyway, so if you want to farm, you can farm close to the priority objectives that your team's going to be coming for.
But EG moving in for the kill here. On top of this inhibitor, Bubbadub looks for the death sentence but doesn't quite find it. Arthlon just throwing out the poke. Another inhib respawns though. That's the mid one coming back up. And DTG going to dig in deep here.
And Inox is fully potted up. His GA is up. His flash is up. His ulti is up. So he is looking to burst down Robert or Westrice here. And it looks, even though they've got another inhibitor respawn, for Determined, it looks very scary here.
Yeah, and we've seen it before. One solar flare here from Crepa. Could change it. He's going to go in for it, but doesn't quite get it. I think Robert actually was forced to flash there. Now Determined going to come back in. Crepa under siege there as Inox gets out there on Ribbon. Bubbadub tries to throw the box out of Pobelter. Runs defense with the ultimate. Is Broken Shard getting crushed down by that Ribbon. Inox going so deep there with his GS still ready to go. Robert actually, his GS is going to go down now as well as Arthalon's looking to be in trouble as well. Robert goes down instantly once he gets back up from Riven, and EG, I think they've done it, Kobe.
Yeah, Determined didn't quite all go in all at the same time, and EG are going to take the